What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the most important NYCFC talk show. It's time for the Dudes in Blue. It's episode number 145. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I'm your host, Joe Amato, and alongside me, as always,
Antonino. What's up, everybody?
What's happening, dude?
Nothing much. Just trying to get situated here and get all the information that I want to speak about this evening in front of me. And it's here, so I'm good.
Fantastic. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. If you're watching live on the Facebook feed, say hello in the comment section. And if you're listening on the pod, thank you so much for spending some time with us. We've got a jam-packed show despite NYCFC being off. We've got some international duty that we might talk a little bit about. Definitely some MLS action. We got U.S. men's national team to talk about. NYCFC finally signed a striker-ish. We've got plenty of stuff to go over. Oh, and at the end of the episode, we've got another pretty amazing giveaway, if I do say so myself. Right, dude?
You did say it, and it's true.
So you're going to want to stick around for that. Now, quickly, dude, before we get things going, we've got the New York Groove, which we're going to talk a little bit about NYCFC. Not a heck of a lot there, but a lot there in some ways. Our Dude of the Week will be kind of interesting because there's a lot of non-MLS things that happen. The Far Post, we're going to take a little trip around MLS because there was 5 matches over the weekend. A lot of things happening there. U.S. men's national team gets the victory over Ecuador, which I want to talk a little bit about. And then Ants Rants, of course, we got some stuff there. And then we've got the short corner where we got some rapid-fire Q&A from our Instagram stories. So Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, at Dudes in Blue. Before we get into the New York Groove, let me just do a couple quick shout-outs here. Is that cool?
Yeah, who's here?
Lalo is checking in saying hello. Jamal saying hi. Steven Berg saying hi, dudes. We finally got a striker. Dante saying, hey, dudes. David, my mom's here. Christian Smith says, hey, dudes, please help me pronounce Hèber. Hèber. Hey, bear.
Or a bear.
Hey, bear.
It's a bear.
And Andres says, Los Caballeros en Azul. Hello from South Carolina. Thanks so much for tuning in. Dude, I hate to keep delaying starting the show here, but we actually should kind of announce the winner of the last giveaway.
Oh, yeah.
Should we do that now first?
Good place to start. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, guys. So last week, we asked you to enter to win this autographed Jonathan Lewis rookie card, and we actually have a winner. We have a winner from this. All you had to do was comment on our Facebook Live show from last week, which was episode number 144, and the winner is, can I get a drum roll? He's in the broadcast tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Steven Berg, you win an autographed Jonathan Lewis rookie card. My man, Steven Berg. I'm just going to put his comment here up on the screen. Steven, you won. Thanks so much for commenting and watching the show. Send us a direct message with your particulars, mainly your address, so we can get this beautiful card out to you. So thanks for everybody for playing. But trust me, at the end of the episode, you're going to want to hang around because there's going to be a good one, right? All right, dude, let's kick things off with the New York Groove. The New York Groove. Our prayers have been answered, dude. Praise the soccer gods because we have a striker. NYCFC announced the signing of the Brazilian international Hèber?
Hèber. I'm gonna the accent is on the E, so and I don't think they pronounce the H, so I'm gonna go out and say Hèber. Yeah.
There you go. Just real quick, dude. Just a couple quick little things here. Played for the Croatian first-tier side, HNK Rijeka? Try it. I have no idea how to pronounce it.
Hèber is as far as I'm going. I ain't got nothing else.
This is impossible. 18-19 season, 9 goals out of 16 appearances, 17-18, 16 goals in 23 appearances. The man can certainly score some goals. You hope that that's what he brings to NYCFC.
So little backstory on him. Started off as a center forward striker beforehand, and when he got to the Croatian league, coach wanted to play him more on the left, and that's where he really got creative and started scoring goals. So he pretty much what you would have seen is similar to what Matrica brings to us, where he's playing on that left side. And there's a couple of heat charts floating around Twitter and Instagram possibly Where you could see it's like the upper left, where the corner of the box is. That's kind of where they spend most of their time. So him and Matriza are fairly similar there. He can play the striker role. He's done it before. The question is he going to produce there, with the likes of Matriza and other people constantly flip-flopping sides, on the wings? Are they going to be interchangeable? Is he going to play the left and Matriza is going to cut in the middle, and do things that way? If they can do it and that's part of the game plan, great. If not, I think you got to kind of put these guys in one place and let them kind of figure it out. Otherwise, we're just going to have a bunch of nonsense where people are going to miss passes, and not be able to find each other like we've been seeing a couple times so far this season. But as far as skill goes, he definitely has the skill. Really good with his feet and really has a nose for the net, especially with his head, which is nice because
I like how you did this when you said nose for the net.
I didn't mean to do that. I got an itchy nose. But yeah, I mean, if you watch his highlights, I mean, he's got great footwork, great work in the box, hell of a shot, and I think if you thought one Matriza was good and now you have two of them, this team could be deadly. Was talk about him being a little injury prone, but we come out later to read an article from the outfield, which was posted today, that one of the Croatian reporters actually wrote it for them, who's been watching him for the last 2 seasons. Training over there was much more intense because of the coach, and he was often pushed to work through muscle injuries. So that's probably not going to happen here. So hopefully he can stay on the field. And if he can, I mean, this guy could do some damage. So again, I don't think this team needs to be looking for one person to do all the work, to carry the workload. But if he, Matriza, and whoever else is playing up at the top can gel with each other, this could be really, really, really potent. But again, he's got to stay on the field, and he's got to prove it in the MLS where there's a little bit more running. He's got good pace, but can he, the stamina-wise, is he fit? Is he ready? He last played in December. I think that's when their league actually ended. So we'll see what happens. I'm excited from what I've seen. I just hope that it translates well to the MLS.
And that's what you hope. And you hope, like, look, I'll talk about a team catching a run later on in the season as far as things kind of finally clicking later on, and that might be okay. But at the same time, man, you got teams like FC Cincinnati who are starting to click now, and they're picking up points now, and the Red Bulls are picking up points, and Atlanta's not picking up points, but the Crew's picking up points, Union's picking up points, Orlando's even starting to pick up some points, and here we are just kind of puttering along, and we need to start gelling quick.
Yeah.
Because, dude, I'm telling you, the season can get away from us fairly quickly if everybody clicks before we do. So
Sure, absolutely.
So for us, I mean, we have almost essentially like a new team, right? I mean, when you're building your game and you're building your team around guys like Matriza and guys like Hèber who are just brand spanking new, every game needs to have a result. I mean, it's like you can't be dropping points. You got to put the ball in the back of the net. You got to stop those silly goals from going in, and you got to produce. And you hope that a guy like Hèber, they've put a lot of faith into this guy. You hope that he's the guy. And what I want to see, dude, you mentioned the flip-flopping. You mentioned the guys going in and out of position. I don't like that. I don't mind wingers swapping sides. We saw a lot of success when Jack Harrison would switch the field occasionally. We saw it even last year when Medina and Shradi would switch positions a lot of times. It would kind of throw defenses off and things like that. But we're not talking about that. We're not talking about a simple right and left flip-flop here. You're talking about Maxi playing as your false nine and then playing as your central midfielder. And then you got Tati, who's now your striker. Oh, wait, no, he's your left mid. Oh, no, he's your right mid. And then you got Alex Ring playing as your striker. It's like there's too many moving pieces. It's very difficult not only just to follow from an onlooker's perspective, but as a player, especially coming into this team brand new, that's going to be difficult. If Dome doesn't have a set game plan and a set identity, unless your identity is just confuse the hell out of everybody, including your own team, we don't have an identity.
Yeah, no, I agree.
It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough for somebody to come in brand new and boom, jump into that kind of situation.
Yeah. So what I think happens is that this move actually affords the players behind the forwards to kind of be a little more consistent in the respect that now you could put Maxi back as that center attacking mid. You've come to realize that James Sands is actually filling in that Alex Ring role, similar to the way Alex did, the way Alex does. Say it that way. So now you're afforded. Now you can kind of evolve this into a 5-man attack where you can have Ring and Maxi push up the field. Maybe not Ring as much, but you have that option, and he doesn't have to track all the way back to play defense, which is nice because that's what a good James Sands has been producing up to this point. So I think the fact that you don't have to worry about Maxi kind of being the striker at this point, he can kind of go back to where he's been the most productive. I think that'll bring in a little more consistency. I think now what it comes down to is the 3 guys that are our primary attacking options have to gel together. The guys behind them, I think, are going to be a little more solid, and I think it's going to afford these 3 guys to have more opportunities. But again, you're right. I think you want some consistency. I think you want to be playing the same parts of the field for a majority of the game and knowing that you can look up and know where the person on your left and the person on your right should be, or the 2 people on your right or the 2 people on your left, depending on what position we're talking about here. It's really hard to expect someone to be there, and all of a sudden they're making a different run on the opposite side of the field, and you can't focus on that because you've got to beat the 2 defenders that are in front of you. So I would like to see more consistency, but if they do end up flip-flopping and it works, and they can both play the left wing, talking about Hèber and Matriza. If those 2 can be a like-for-like swap positionally, and they can figure out what they want to do together as a tandem, that's fine. But that might take a little too long to click, and that's where you got to worry. You're right. It's a timing thing now. It's the season is underway and it's super early, but if you've watched the league, you know how fast it can get away from you. So I just want to see this guy get out there, and I want to see what he can do on the field at this point. I'm curious to know. I can't make a prediction about what's going to happen, but I'm very curious to know what the shape and formation is going to look like moving forward.
I don't think anybody knows what to expect. You know what I mean?
No.
There are people that we don't know. The signings that we made, it's not like we made, it's not like we signed Falcao. It's not like we signed Balotelli. We signed people that we've never seen before, and have never heard of more often than not, right? I want to get to a comment here from Lalo on Facebook here. He's got a couple of comments. I'd rather a second half coming hot into the playoff push as opposed to a good start now. We've gone down in the second half of the season 2 years already. He also said that we also tied against 2 good teams who are on fire right now in DC and LAFC, as opposed to us who are still clicking. So it's not all that bad right now with Hèber. I get that. I do get that. But at the end of the day, we're in New York. We want things now. We want things yesterday, and we want to win. We don't want to start this season the way we ended last season. We want to start things fresh and new. And I understand it's difficult. I understand, there may be some patience that needs to be taken into effect here, but I don't have any. I don't know about you, but I'm not the most patient guy in the world. Ask my wife. So for me, we need goals. We need goals. We need wins. We played 3 games, guys. 3 games, 3 draws, 3 points out of 9. We need wins.
Yeah, I agree with you want to finish the second half strong. The problem is that you don't want to have to win games in the second half. You don't want to need wins in order to gain position.
Points.
So I would I don't mind being a little cold now, but you don't want that cold spell to last too long. You don't want to drop points for too many games because you could be you're essentially digging yourself into a hole. And it's the worst feeling in the world, needing help from other teams at the end of the season, trying to get in. It doesn't matter how well you play. You win your last 6 games, but you finish outside the top 6, 7. It's dangerous. So I think this team wants to finish in the obviously they want to finish in first place, but You can't do that if you're dropping points, especially at home.
That's right. That's right. Especially at home. 2 of our 3 matches have been at home, that's in this league. You got to win at home. You got to win at home. Going on the road, you're lucky to get a point. You really are. So you got to take your chances at home. You got to walk away with 3 points at home as much as you can, and you can't be dropping points. So again, hoping this guy Hèber is going to provide us with the goals, him and Matrica, because for that kind of money, the dude's got to be scoring. It's just that in an attacking position, spending that kind of money in this league, you got to be scoring goals. There's no you want to get paid and be treated like Joseph Martinez. You got to act like Joseph Martinez.
Well, yeah, not right now. Last year,
no. Last year, Joseph Martinez.
Not this year, Joseph Martinez.
No, not this year, Joseph Martinez.
Not yet, at least.
Real quick, dude. So moving on, the only other NYCFC news really is the fact that do we have 9 internationals out now? 8 or 9?
It might be 10. I'm not sure. I know we end up missing a couple of the U20 guys.
NYCFC posted an update as far as they have 10 internationals called up to their teams. I'm sorry. So I'm not going to read all these guys, but real quick, I want to just get to something Jamal said on Facebook with regards to this. He said, dudes, I have to point out something about Chanot. I watched the matches for Luxembourg, and he has some beautiful long balls from the defensive side. We've seen it.
Yeah, we have.
But again,
we don't play that
that's
way.
Not the way we play.
So it's unfortunate.
I love it. Don't get me wrong. When Pirlo would make those long diagonal balls, it would just warm the cockles of my heart. But we don't do that. We play side to side and short passes, and that's how we play.
Yeah, but it's nice. It is nice to know he has the ability, and we have seen him do it before, albeit it was a long time ago. It's a weapon. I just don't think that Dome wants to deploy that particular weapon, and it's unfortunate because sometimes you really need it. But he's a staple in that Luxembourg team, man. And I'm not sure if they won today. I know they were playing. I watched some of it, and it was 1-1 when I left off. But they were top of the group, which is pretty cool. Small country and small country doing big things.
Yeah. So real quick, guys. So Matarrita for Costa Rica, he came off the bench in the 46th minute, but the team lost to Guatemala. Let's see, Luxembourg. They did win 2-0 over. Yeah, they won over Lithuania 2-0. Sean Johnson and Jonathan Lewis both saw minutes. Well, Sean Johnson pretty much played the whole game for USMNT's national team. Only touched the ball like 4 or 5 times. We'll talk a little bit about that in a little bit. But Jonathan Lewis came off the bench, didn't really do much. Didn't really see much of the ball. The interesting one for me was, and I like the way that NYCFC put this. Let me find that here about Matrica. So Sweden played Romania. Right? We had the opportunity to see Alexandru Matrica, or Matrata, as the damn announcer kept calling him. Come on.
I don't know. It's almost
if we could say it right. These are the Euro qualifiers, man. Like, gee, come on. Anyway, I digress. And this is from NYCFC's website. NYCFC's newest DP, Alexandru Matrica, started and played the first 45 for a dangerous attacking Romania side, while Anton Tinnerholm made the subs bench in Sweden's 2-1 victory on match day 1 of the Euro qualifiers. Now, Romania was not dangerous in that game. Sweden was dangerous in that game. Sweden pretty much had control of the entire first half. Matrica probably touched the ball 8 times in the first half.
You just gotta make it sound good.
But it wasn't.
Yeah, no. It would have been nice to see Tinnerholm and he go up against each other, but that didn't happen. So that game was a little bit of a downer.
Yeah, it is what it is. But at any rate, look, you got guys out on international duty. There's other games to be played. I'm not gonna rattle off. You just go to NYCFC's website to read this. But anyway, it's nice to have these guys out. It's nice that we actually had a break more importantly for me, I don't like that there was 5 MLS games during an international break.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of it. I don't like it. I think when you have this many players now, we're a league now that has a lot of international level talent and national duty talent. So to see a lot of these guys gone, like I think FC Cincinnati had like 5 players out, something silly like that. So for me, it does a disservice to the club teams because you're missing your players, especially at the start of a brand new season.
You essentially are watering down your product at a peak time. Beginning of the season, you're 3 weeks in. This is where you want to start rolling, and all of a sudden, you're jogging out teams that are missing 5, 6, 7 guys. Attendance was really down this week, and I think that's part of it. You want to go and watch everybody play. You want your whole team there. And it's not like Europe where you've got superstars to replace superstars. I mean, they don't even play during the break, which is one thing. But if they were to play, I mean, you've got A-list talent up and down the roster. You just don't have that here, and it is a big disservice to the league, and they really shouldn't do it to themselves. But this is the way you want to play the schedule, and this is how you want to condense it. And you want to play, other teams got to play 4 games in freaking 9 days down the road. It's just it doesn't help the players, doesn't help the league, and it certainly doesn't help the fans who sometimes can't make 3 home games in 8 days.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. That just about does it for NYCFC news, dude. Let's move on to Dude of the Week because I have no idea who the hell to give this to. Let's get it going.
Yeah.
Dude of the Week. All right, it's time for Dude of the Week, the point of the show where we crown somebody Dude of the Week, but NYCFC did not play, so it's really, really difficult to do. Do we want to look at this from an MLS standpoint? Do we want to look at it from an international standpoint? If we're going to look at it, well, how do you want to look at it? And guys in the comments, let us know where you think we should go with this one because it's really, really difficult.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Lalo on Facebook is saying Walker Zimmerman for the 90-plus minute winner, the stoppage time winner for LAFC over,
that was
I believe that was RSL. But Jamal says Sean Johnson for not having to make a save. This is kind of reaching into the far post a little bit of the stuff that I want to talk about, but David Accam wound up scoring 2 goals for Philadelphia Union in their 3-0 win over the Columbus Crew over the weekend. And the reason why I'm kind of bringing that up is because a couple reasons. Number one, David Accam was a major signing for the Philadelphia Union. Dude, if you remember in the MLS Super Draft last year, for 1 point something million, a couple million almost, he was a major signing from Chicago to Philly in the draft. We were there. We were at the draft
while we were there. Yeah.
When it happened. And the last time he scored for Philly was last summer. So when you bring in a guy like that who is supposed to score goals and doesn't score goals and you pay that kind of money for him, it's really, really difficult. But for him, he picked up a brace in the game, but more importantly, unfortunately, he lost his father, I believe it was days before the match, to cancer. And it was a very emotional celebration for him. And it was just like, wow. Like, you felt that. So for me, that's why I would give it to David Accam as Dude of the Week for this week. Not only for scoring the goals, but for the circumstances in which he did. It was just kind of an emotional thing.
I mean, if that's not going above and beyond, I really don't know what is. Because if it were 98% of the people, nobody's even going out there. But for a lot of these guys, they go out and play because they all tell you it's what their loved ones, and you see it a lot. It happens not quite a bit, but it does happen during the season. And you see guys come out and play because it's what their loved one would have wanted them to do, and it's a way for them to kind of work things out and get their mind off of things. But you still carry that person with you no matter what. And to be able to not 1 but 2 goals in, it's just that to me is definitely above and beyond.
And just seeing him after he netted the first one, just drop to the ground, face in his hands. It's just like, number one, like you said, for him to be there after the match. I mean, after what happened, to be at the match and then to do that, it's just like it was the perfect storm of like emotion, And again, people on Facebook, you guys are all agreeing that David Accam. So we got to give it to him, dude. I think David Accam, rightfully so, gets due to the week for episode number 145 after that very roller coastery week that he must have had. Must have been very very difficult. So congrats to him and condolences at the same time. It's really unfortunate, but. Yeah. That's the thing with this league, dude. That's the thing with soccer, And Dave on Facebook says, that's the beautiful game. Give it to Accam. That's what it is, man. I haven't felt that kind of a way toward athletes and sports the way I feel about this particular sport. There's something about it.
Oh yeah.
That's just like, it just tugs on your heartstrings, and to see stuff like that, it's just fantastic.
Absolutely.
So, listen, let's keep things rolling here, dude. Let's move over to the far post where we're going to talk a little bit more MLS and some U.S. men's national team, and guys in the comments, let us know right now while things are cooking here what you thought of the U.S. men's national team performance, because we're going to get to that momentarily. We want to know what you thought of the performance. It was 1-0 victory over Ecuador, and but a very interesting kind of strange game. So we'll talk about it. Let's get into it, dude.
Yep.
The far post. All right, dude, it's probably best. Let's start off with the U.S. men's national team because that's kind of where we bridge the gap here between NYCFC and the international duty. So 1-0 over Ecuador. Dude, did you watch any of the game?
I actually did. I watched the first half in the car. I wasn't driving, and I caught the second half at home. Very, very interesting. It's definitely a new look, much younger team. Very fun to watch, very hardworking. I think Berhalter's doing a really good job. I don't necessarily know if I would protect a lead the way they kind of did. I would have liked to see a little bit more go for it there, just because you've got the young guys there and the talent, and you want to see what they can do in those moments. But again, the team is playing fairly well, and I like the direction it's going. Again, they got lucky with the goal, but listen, sometimes you need that, and if you don't take the shots, they're not going to go in. It just doesn't. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Michael Scott.
That's right. So, yeah, it's tough. So, what was the positives here? The positive takeaway, if you want to take away any positive, is that this is Greg Berhalter's third match. It's his third win, his third shutout, right? So, you could take away that positive. If you look at it without looking at it under a microscope, you say, oh my gosh, this is fantastic. We got these young kids playing. Greg Berhalter's doing an absolutely phenomenal job. 3 wins, 3 shutouts, 3 clean sheets, just amazing. But then you look at the on-the-field play, and look, you had at the same time, this was the first time that we saw Christian Pulisic, Weston McKennie, Tyler Adams, all on the same field at the same exact time, and I did not feel like they were all on the same field at the same exact time. Now, I know they only had a couple days before the match, but I expected a little bit more. And part of it could be positioning. Tyler Adams played in a different role than he's accustomed to. Christian Pulisic played in a different role that he was accustomed to. You had poor McKinney got injured, and Dave is asking how badly is McKinney injured. I think it's pretty bad. I think it was a ruptured ankle ligament, something like that. From what I saw, it sounds pretty bad, especially if it's an ankle injury.
I think it's 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, that's kind of rough. I mean, you hope he's back in time for the Gold Cup. That's what you want. You want him back in time for the Gold Cup. I mean, it's going to hurt his club, his club performances, obviously, but at the same time, you want him back for the Gold Cup for the U.S. men's national team. Anyway, that being said, for me, I know in the comments, a goal is a goal is a goal, but for me, it's just like, it was just lucky. That game was a draw for me. Ecuador sat back and defended pretty much the entire game. And when you have arguably our best attacking players all on the field at the same time, and you can't muster up more than 4 or 5 shots, something else has to click. And again, I take it with a grain of salt because they only had a couple days. They had a couple days with each other. They play against Chile Tuesday night. So if you're listening to this on the pod on Tuesday, it's tonight. And if you are listening after the game, then it already happened. You already know what happened. But that game, they'll be without McKinney because of the injury. They'll be without Tyler Adams. But at the same time, I expect a little bit better of a showing because the team had a little bit more time to get acclimated to each other and to kind of implement the strategy that Berhalter's trying to implement.
I think the biggest thing is if you look at all the teams that perform well on a national team level, you've got multiple players from the same league, if not the same league, the same the same team. You've got the Spain national team. You've got Barcelona, Real Madrid. They take up a good chunk of the roster for the most part year after year because they just have the talent that way. But when those guys constantly see each other throughout the season, it's like an elongated training camp, so to speak. When it comes to the United States, you don't have that. You've got players literally playing in every corner of the world, and you've got one guy that plays in the Bundesliga who'll be playing in the Premier League. You got guys playing. A couple guys from Bundesliga, a couple guys from MLS. You've got guys, all over the place. So it's difficult because those guys see different competition, different teammates for a majority of the season, whereas these other national teams, these guys either play with each other or see each other on a much more frequent basis, and it becomes easier not only to gel, but you kind of, even if you don't play with the guy on the same team, if you watch film of him or if you're watching your league's highlights because you're getting, you're studying and whatnot, you still know how those guys play, and it's that much more of an advantage. So I think if you had more of these guys playing together on a regular basis outside of the team, it would be a little bit easier for them to gel, and they would be much stronger on the international level. But it's very difficult to do that because the way that MLS is set up, it's not conducive to have all these guys playing here, just because the money's not there. With the salary cap and the restrictions and things like that, it's just it doesn't happen that way. Believe me, if all these guys played in the MLS, the team would be much, much better just because they're more acclimated with each other. I know the competition is a little bit less, but I think we're talking about from a cohesion standpoint, the team is that much more solid because they're constantly being woven together throughout the season and not just every couple of months.
I don't know. It's hard because I think the only team that you can kind of say has that advantage, one of the only teams I should say, is England. Right? England, you look at the past World Cup, dude. That entire England squad were Premier League. They were all Premier League.
Yeah.
But when you look at Brazil and you look at Argentina and you look at maybe not so much Spain, but when you look at Argentina and you look at Brazil, these guys don't all play in La Liga or the Prem. They're all over the place, but they come together and it's like they never left. That's
You've
got
good chunks
to get to.
You've got good chunks though. You've got good chunks of players where it's like 3 or 4 guys play together on the same team here and there. And a lot of teams do have that. And if you have that core, it's a little easier to build off of as well. England is one of the few teams where every single player could be from the Premier League, and that's just an ultimate advantage on their part. But I mean, Italy, you've got a majority of the players come from the Serie A. At one point, it was 3 teams that were putting players in. It was Juventus, Milan, and Inter. Putting guys in there. You had very few guys that played, on the outside coming in. But again, when it's almost like when you put that one odd man out, if everyone else knows what they're doing, it's much easier for that person to get acclimated. So again, there are teams like Argentina where guys play a little bit all over the place, but the talent level is a little bit higher with those guys, in my opinion. I think the U.S. just it's not that the talent pool is a little bit more shallow. There's a lot of things that be going on, but I think the team is moving in the right direction. You have a youthful presence. These young guys are going abroad and they're playing particularly well. You look at guys like Alphonso Davies, again, not USA, but you've got people who play here that go
MLSers,
elsewhere and do well. Yeah, so It's nice to see.
One more quick thing I just want to mention about the men's national team game. So Will Trapp got the captain's armband, and dude, I have to say, I feel like there's a little bit of nepotism with Berhalter.
Just a little
bit.
Just
a smidge. However, Will Trapp looked like he had the vision of one of the most amazing creators in the midfield that we've seen for this team. With some of the passes he was making and some of the things he was doing, I was blown away by some of the passes he was making out of the midfield. So he's going to be somebody that I want to watch specifically tomorrow night against Chile, because if he has a game like that where the team's clicking a little bit more, I think they're going to be very dangerous going forward. If he's linking up that play from back to forward, holy crap, some of the passes he was making, I was like, where did this come from? You know, it's just absolutely incredible. So it's just fun to watch. Absolutely fun to watch. Team's moving in the right direction, and so are we, dude. We got to move on, man, because I know we're having fun. Let's quickly round up MLS's matches over the weekend, because there were still 5 matches. Dude, real quick, FC Cincinnati gets their second straight win over the New England Revolution at Gillette Stadium, which is a very difficult place for teams to go and play. New England Revolution typically have a very good home record, but they beat them 2-0. Revs are in absolute shambles. FC Cincinnati is flying high, despite missing like 4 or 5 of their players on international duty.
Yeah. It's great. It's great when teams can come. Absolutely. That's the main thing I think you can take away from it. That it is a very, very fun game to watch.
Then we got the Philadelphia Union 3-0 over Columbus Crew. We talked about that in our Dude of the Week. David Acon picking up his brace, sealing that victory. First goal since last summer. Orlando got their first win of the season over the New York Red Bulls, and this one is just I love when this happens.
It's great because Red Bulls tweeted out in a throwing shade at Nani, we welcome to the MLS, because he was getting bodied left and right on the field. This is one of those times where you kind of talk too soon, because when you say something stupid like that and lose the game, you look like, you got egg all over your face. Egg all over your face. And you know what? You should be used to that, because that's just what they do over there in New Jersey.
Oh, we're in New Jersey. Yeah, so that was fun. Sasha Kleshin getting the game-winning goal at Red Bull Arena, which is absolutely just you can't
icing
write it.
On the cake.
You cannot write this kind of stuff. It's absolutely amazing. FC Dallas 2-1 over the Colorado Rapids. Hollingshead with the winner in the 82nd minute. Not the most exciting match with two teams that are just not very interesting to me. Not when Toyota – is it Toyota Stadium or Toyota Park? I can't remember. One is – I think it's Toyota Field, maybe? I don't know, but it's always empty.
Toyota.
But it's always empty. And then LAFC picks up another victory over RSL with a 90-minute stoppage time goal from Walker Zimmerman to put the LAFC up 2-1. Mike Petke must have murdered somebody in the locker room after that game. But that's pretty much it, guys. We've got a full slate of MLS action coming up this weekend. But yeah, pretty exciting weekend. Pretty exciting weekend for headline readers. It's a lot of fun. So
for sure.
All right, dude. Let's move on. It's time for one of my favorite segments in the show. It's time for Ants Rants. Let's do it. It's time for Ants Rants. All right, dude. What's pissing you off this week?
All right. So one of the big stories this week. Serginho, Brazilian footballer playing in Bolivia's professional league, walks off the field mid-game due to racist chants. It's 2019. This crap's got to stop. It's really, really, really ridiculous at this point. It's sad. It's really, really sad. Listen, I'm all for banter. I'm all for. Listen, I've said my fair share of mean things to people in the corner. You've heard it. You've said some bad things to people in the corner.
No.
You keep it to what's on the field. I've called Felipe ugly. I told Sasha his porn stash was trash. There's things you can attack, and then there's that line that they're always talking about, and there's no reason to cross it. I mean, you've got guys making monkey noises at this guy. It's absolutely disgusting. It's disgusting, and it's everywhere. It's not just in South America. It's in Europe. You hear it a lot. Raheem Sterling was subject to it a couple times. Balotelli, certainly has been subject to it. So it's gotta stop. And I kudos to him for walking off the field. Next time it happens, I want the whole team to leave the field. That's it. The whole team leaves the field. You don't penalize the team for a loss. You stop the game and you reschedule it and you play it behind closed doors. And maybe the fans will learn that way, because there's no place for it in the world, let alone sports. It's a place where we all come to enjoy and relax, and we come together as fans to watch these two teams, play for us, essentially. To do something like this is absolutely disgusting, and there's no place for it in the game. It really needs to stop. And honestly, I do applaud him for leaving, for having the gall to walk away and say, listen, I'm not doing this. There's, and just, again, next time when a whole team does it, I think things will, be a little different. But taking it to a two-part answer, we're going to take it a little bit lighter now. Dude, what the hell is this? Are you showing it? Can people see it?
Yeah, it's up. It's up.
What in the name of Sam Hill is this?
You got to describe it for the ones listening on the pod.
It looks like Walt Disney threw up. It just looks like every like space sci-fi movie just ran into each other. It's a Nike Manchester City mashup kit with like 6 different jerseys that people have really enjoyed over the last couple of seasons. And my God, is this thing one of the ugliest pieces of apparel I have ever seen in my life. I'm actually looking at it right now on my screen.
Did you pre-order it? Dude, Kevin De Bruyne's face looks like if you weren't paying me $20 million to wear this, I would be burning it.
Listen, I'm pretty sure what happened here was Nike was told, hey, look, we've had a lot of nice jerseys by Man City. We had a lot of nice jerseys last couple seasons. Let's try to let's mash them all together and make something really cool out of them. And once they struck a deal with Puma for next season, Nike was like, screw you guys. I mean, listen, there is a way to do it. I'm all for the mashup. I like the mashup. I like combining old with new and things like that. But there are ways to do it. And then there is this second grade art project that would not make the refrigerator no matter how special your child was. It's just it's not special in that way, obviously. I mean, like,
that's
it's
fun.
just like things are not. This is not fridge worthy. It is so bad. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different colors, 4 different shapes, 3 different stripes. Why? Why would you do this? And if you buy this, I'm sorry. I can't be friends with you.
There you go. I'm gonna cancel my pre-order. There you go. There you go. That was a really good answer, Ants. Dude, listen, before we close off the show with the short corner, doing our rapid fire Q&A from the Instagram story, let's talk about a giveaway. We got a good one. We got a good one, guys, and I'm glad those that stuck around on the live feed and you're listening on the podcast, we've got something special. So that last week it was the Jonathan Lewis rookie card autograph. This year, dude, show the dudes in Blue Nation what they can possibly win.
Ready for this?
No. Move it a little bit away from the... There we go.
Yeah. So we've got here a team signed ball from last season. It's got over 15 or 16 signatures, somewhere in the neighborhood of 18 that I can count. I keep rotating the ball, and I keep counting the same signatures after about 18. So David Villa not on this one because he wasn't at the event, which I was pretty pissed about. But you've got everyone else on there. A lot of guys that are still on the team, a couple guys that have moved on. But you got guys like Sean Johnson, Jonathan Lewis, Maxime Chanot.
Was that pre-Dome?
And Sweat. No, this was actually Dome's like third or fourth week.
So did he sign that?
No, he actually didn't. I didn't want to really go. He was the social butterfly at this event, and he was really hard to track down. But for the most part, everyone else did a great job. Signed by the great Thomas McNamara as well. So
dude, we're not giving that away. I'll take that off your hands.
Dudes in Blue employees cannot win the contest.
All right, let me tell the fans how to win this thing. Okay, so just like last time, guys, you got to comment on our Facebook Live video for episode number 145. It's pinned to the top of our Facebook page. If you're in the live broadcast on Facebook and have left a comment already, you're already in the running. You're already in the running, but you got to be in the United States. You got to be in the U.S. to win this thing because that's where we will ship it. We're not shipping it outside of the U.S. because we're just not doing that. At any rate, what you can also do, guys, I'd like you to share the episode 145 video on Facebook. If you share it, you will get an extra chance to win this thing. Please share the video, but you have to leave a comment minimally to get in. You got to be in it to win it. So there you go, dude. That's a beautiful giveaway for this week. Smash the like button if you're in the Facebook Live feed if you like this video. Or not the video. If you like the giveaway, this video is terrible. Let's talk about the ball. So that's it, guys. Comment, share. Episode 145 video on Facebook. That's all you got to do. You're in to win it. All right, dude. Let's wrap this show up with the short corner. Thank you all for commenting on our Instagram story. We've got some interesting questions because there was no NYCFC match. So what we're going to do is we're going to read these as usual, dude. And again, first answer right off the top of your head. I'll give mine. You give yours. You ready to go?
Do it.
All right, George Adewall on Instagram. If you could slap a player, who would it be and why? Oh, Felipe. I'm just throwing him out there because I just want to smack him.
You took mine, Felipe, hands down.
Very easy. Wadagata Petersbury, faithful Instagram story commenter. Thoughts on the leaked parlay jersey, which we didn't really talk about. I like it. I hope they have enough in stock.
Yes. Very cool. Love the colors. I just hope they make it in my size.
There you go. M. Lumino, Xbox or PlayStation? It's Xbox for me.
Xbox, hands down.
M. Lumino as well on Instagram. Mac or PC? Always going to be Mac for me.
Yeah, working on a Mac right now.
Let's see. Dude, this one's going to be more your territory because I'm not really in the city as frequently as you are. But Upstate Strong says, best place to get pizza in the city. I'm going to say Fleetwood's in, I think it's Westchester. But that's just
so not in the city, but
not
close
in the city,
enough.
but
Fleetwood is very good. City-wise, depending on what kind of pizza you want thin pizza. I'm going with Vezzo, Neapolitan style. You're gonna go Sognanabile, and if you're gonna go like a traditional style, you gotta go with either Lombardi's or Joseph Bleecker.
There you go. M. Lumino is just dominating the Instagram story questions here. Ideas on how to improve attendance? Win.
Score goals and make season tickets more valuable.
J. Ramo 14 says, do you think Hèber will start on Friday? Also, how many goals do you expect from him? Yes, I expect him to start, and I expect 11 goals from him.
I haven't seen him with the team yet, so I don't know if he's going to start. It might not happen, but I think you're going to end up with lower double digits in goals. Right around 11 or 12.
Quincy 813 says, what do you guys think the lineup will look like once Hèber starts? I think you're going to see him in that central striker number 9 position.
Yeah, I think you're going to get Matriza, Hèber, and either a combination of Shradi and Medina or Tati on the right-hand side. And the rest of the guys pretty much as normal. Maxi Ring, Sands, and the back four, and Johnson.
That's it. That's the last one. Thank you guys for writing in on the Instagram story there. We really do appreciate that. Every week, just keep those questions coming because those are fun. I have fun with those, dude. I don't know about you, but they are a lot of fun.
Those are my favorite.
Dude, do me a favor. Show that ball one more time for those watching on the YouTube feed or the Facebook feed or wherever they're watching.
We got balls.
Again, if you want to win this ball, comment on the Facebook Live video for episode number 145 and share it. Smash the share button for the chance to win this beautiful MLS signed ball. We're going to try to do giveaways like this every week, guys. Eventually, we're going to run out of stuff. Sometimes it's going to be fantastic stuff. Sometimes it's going to be maybe, I don't know. We're going to try to do as best we can. So we appreciate you guys spending so much time with us. Leave us a review on Facebook and iTunes if you can, please. 5-star is
that should be an extra entrance right there.
It will be an extra entrance, but we can't because we can't bribe people to leave reviews. I wish we could.
I mean,
I wish we could, but we can't. Guys, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, we're at Dudes in Blue. Thank you guys so much for spending time with us for episode 145. We'll be back Monday night, 8 p.m. on Facebook Live, and Tuesday for the pod, obviously. But, dude, it's gonna be a fun week. MLS coming back, but let's hope NYCFC can come away from Toronto, right? With 3 points. We need 3 points. Toronto has won their first 2 games, it looks like. So we'll see what happens. But until then, guys, thanks so much for joining us, and always
stay blue.